And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We're here to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, Aaron, at lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron, lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. That's www.aaronkatzman.com. Be sure to follow me both on LinkedIn and Twitter. And you've been doing it. The numbers are skyrocketing, right? Just keep hitting subscribe. Keep hitting subscribe. Feel free to subscribe. Don't feel free, just do it, right? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, we got that all out of the way. So you've spent your whole life saving for retirement, let's say. And now you retire. Now what? What do we do? I get calls like, Katzman, okay, we retired. Now what do we do? Okay. So I want to speak to you about, like, you retired, now what? Regarding your money. Okay. It's very important because unfortunately people spend a lot of time, decades, getting to this point. They don't always think about what they're going to do once they hit the point, and then they retire and things might change. Okay. The first thing I want to tell you is you don't have to panic when you have to retirement and change your entire portfolio, right? I get calls, well, now that I'm in retirement, I should own fixed income. I should own CDs and I should own bonds. Well, there's not a huge difference between the day before retirement and the day that you retired in terms of your portfolio. What I would have suggested along the way is as you get closer to retirement, you may or may not have to take your foot off of the gas pedal, right? You might have to get less aggressive, may not have to. It's really a function of your entire net worth, your whole financial picture, right? Generally, for a lot of people, it probably pays to get a little bit more conservative as they're approaching retirement. But if you've done if you've done things correctly and you have a very large net worth, you don't necessarily need to all of a sudden move into significantly more conservative investments. That's number one. The other thing that I think that you need to, let's say, worry about is that your retirement isn't going to be like your parents. We're a product of our parents. A lot of things we do is mimic our parents. But when it comes to retirement, it's a little bit different. Why is that? Because life expectancies have continued to increase, right? Unless you have declining health, have some kind of, God forbid, family history of illness or shortened lifespans, because of medical advances, there's a good chance that you're going to live a long, long time. That could mean 30 or 40 years in retirement, right? It's almost as much as you worked. Go figure, okay? It's not the only thing that's changed since your parents retired. The declining, I would say, prevalence of a corporate pension means it's on you, right? You can't count on X corporation to take care of you, until you turn 120. It's up to you, okay? You'll get your Social Security, whatever it is, but it's really up to you. So the first thing I want to speak about is, what do? Okay, get your finances in order. Very, very important. The first thing you've got to do is figure out what your expenses are now that you're no longer going to work, right? When you worked, believe it or not, your expenses are a lot less. You might have to buy a new shirt every now and then. You might buy yourself lunch. Other than that, the beauty of working is you have not a lot of free time. And when you don't have a lot of free time, you don't have a lot of ways to spend your money. Once you have a lot of free time, right, as I've said thousands of times, I wrote in my book, right, my equation, I'm a mathematician, leisure equals money spent, right? The more free time you have, the more money you tend to spend, okay? So figure out your expenses. While many of your expenses are going to stay the same once you retire, there are going to be some new things probably that crop up in your budget, like on the medical side, long-term care insurance, maybe increased travel expenses, like I say, leisure expenses. It might be, brunches, lunches, new hobbies, right? Things that there's a good chance that things that you're going to do to keep yourself occupied for the 10 or whatever, 8 to 10 hours a day that you used to go to work, some of those things might cost money, okay? Some of your expenses might drop. You're not gonna have to pay payroll taxes. Good chance that clothes is gonna drop. There are those who say, oh, your gas will drop. Maybe not, because you're gonna actually drive places to fill up your time, okay? So figure out expenses, okay? How much am I spending now that I'm in retirement? Number 2, income. Okay, that's sort of easy, right? Any kind of pensions that you might have, defined benefit pensions, Social Security, if you're living in Israel or whatever other country you have, your own country's sort of social safety net, what they pay out in a sort of a meager pension. Any kind of passive income you have, maybe you have a rental property or properties that you have. Add all those things up. If you're working part-time, a lot of retirees do, sort of stay out there in the workforce. That goes into the income line as well. Okay, I wouldn't put into my income line, which a lot of people do, is, well, I have to take a distribution from my retirement account, so I'm going to put that in my income line. That's not income, okay? That's a distribution you're forced to take. There's no requirement that you actually go and spend that money, okay? So you have to be careful about that. We're going to get back to that in a second. So once you know your expenses and your income from all sources, if there's a shortfall, okay, then you're going to use your retirement accounts to bridge the gap, okay? Otherwise, if all's hunky-dory and you've got, $100,000 coming in from all various sources and you're spending $60,000 a year, well, you can take your retirement distributions that you're going to be forced to take once you turn 72, when you turn 72, you don't have to spend it, right? You can put that back into a taxable account and keep investing it if you want. You can use it, but there's no requirement that you go and blow the money somewhere, right? So unless you're really frugal, there's probably a good chance you're going to have to use your savings to supplement your income, your retirement income that you have coming in, right? It's important, though, to really map all of that out, okay? And then see how much you have. Will you have to eat principal, or can you create a portfolio which is just going to sort of automate in an automated fashion, spit out the income that you need, once a month, once a quarter, whatever it is, you can pull that money out and supplement your income, and the rest of the money, the rest of your principal continues hopefully to grow over time, right? That's obviously the goal. The goal is to use as little of your retirement savings as possible, but we live in the real world, right? Reality bites, as they say. And as such, that's why you saved money, right? It's pretty clear. That's what you saved money for all those decades, for this exact time, right? When you are now retired, so that if you need to, you can use those, the hard-earned retirement funds in order to supplement your Social Security, any kind of pension, any other passive income that you have coming in order to make ends meet, so that you can have a secure financial future. Isn't that what we all want ultimately, right? We want to have to live comfortably in our old age, and there's enough to worry about. We don't necessarily have to add another thing to worry about, which is our financial situation, right? Our health, all those things are things which are much more important. And if you started young, and you've listened to my advice over the years, right? You've started young and you've saved, and you put 10 to 15% of your salary away, stay out of debt, all those good things. If you live according to the book, chances are financially you will be in a good situation, and you won't have to be nervous about, well, am I going to run out of money or not? You've been tuning into the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman, where we speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, Aaron, at lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. That's www.aaronkatzman.com. Be sure to follow me on both Twitter and LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. where you get all of this information. You get playlists, you get everything. It's all Aaron Katzman all the time. What can be better than that? That's what my family says. They say, wow, we get you all the time. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.